All right, guys, so for your sugary cereals PPA, your Unit 2 PPA, which is your test grade for Unit 2, you're going to access these video directions and watch them completely, and then you're going to access your document and start working. So at some point, you should open up the document that I have in front of me, and you're going to complete each part. There is 3 parts, I believe. Yep, 3 parts. So the first part is your data collection. So I have recreated the grocery store shelves for you for these sugary cereals project. Usually we go out and we actually go to the grocery store on a field trip, but because of COVID, we can't do that. So I recreated the shelves using this link. So you're going to have this open. This is your shelves. You also should have the spreadsheet open. When you click this link, it's going to make a copy for you. That's because I want you to work on it and have that created to complete your project. So the first part is the data collection. So you are actually going to go into the presentation. And what's going to happen is when you click on the presentation, it will show you how much sugar is in one serving of that particular cereal. You can click and then type. So for example, I could go to my honeycombs and that's 10 grams, but do not type the G, just type the number. Otherwise Statlet will not calculate correctly for you. But you're going to do that for each of the cereals shown. You can click it and reveal all of them at once, or you can click, type, whichever works for you. But once you've had all that data and you've plugged it all in, you're done with part 1. And then you're going to move on to part 2. You will need your spreadsheet, your copy of the spreadsheet to complete part 2. So make sure you have this and this filled in. And just to clarify, this is obviously the top shelf, starting with the honeycombs, that's the top shelf. The bottom shelf starts with the Frosted Flakes. All right. Now going back to part 2. For part 2, you are going to need to open Statlet and access one quantitative variable single group, the 4th link. And what you're going to want to do is, this is not accurate. Obviously not accurate. I'm just typing in random numbers. It doesn't match my shelves. But I want to figure out for the top and the bottom shelf, all of the stuff in this table. So I want to work on the top shelf and get that done, get all those numbers. And then I'm going to work on the bottom shelf, get that done, and then get those numbers. So I'm going to focus just on the top shelf. I'm going to take my data, click, hold, drag, copy and paste. So Control C, place it into my data, and I'm just going to name this top shelf because why not? Begin analysis. Now what happens is it creates those graphs for you. You got a histogram. You can look at the spread of the data, box plot, so on and so forth, but you really want to focus on this summary statistics. And you want to take that summary statistics and use it to help you fill in the chart here and here. Once you're done with the top shelf filling all of that in, you'll do it for the bottom shelf. Obviously, then you're going to answer 4 and 5 using your understanding of topics we've covered in Unit 2. And a little bit of Unit 1 as well. Now, once you are done with Step A, you're going to move on to Step B, which is using z-scores to figure out if your favorite cereal from the list is more or less sugary. So essentially, you're going to go to your spreadsheet and you're going to identify your favorite cereal from this list. Not a random cereal, just a favorite cereal. So from this list, you're going to pick one of your favorites. Let's say my favorite is Apple Jacks. I'm going to go back to my PPA and I'm going to say, okay, Miss Smith, my favorite cereal is Apple Jacks. And I know that my Apple Jacks are 14 grams of sugar. In order to calculate the z-score, I need to figure out what the standard deviation and mean of that shelf is. So I need to go back to my table. Apple Jacks was on the top shelf. So I need to figure out the mean and the standard deviation. I'm going to plug that in. I'm going to find the z-score and I'm going to calculate. Step C, under the area under the normal curve, I'm going to follow the same steps for Apple Jacks. I need the mean and standard deviation of my normal distribution. So I'm going to go there. I'm gonna type everything in. I'm gonna go to Statlet, and then I'm gonna go to normal distributions. I'm gonna type in the mean and standard deviation